In the 96 East Midlands derby, an own goal from Henry Lansbury in the 16th minute have given Derby County the 1-0 lead at half-time. Derby enjoying more attempts from Forest, but both were just the one shot on target so far. And actually Forest in that first half enjoying more possession, which is rare against a Derby County side who've been brilliant in terms of possession across the season in the Skybet Championship. Peter Beagrie is alongside me. Peter, would that point to the fact that although they're down at half-time, it's an improved performance from what we saw from Forest in this fixture last year?
Yeah, definitely plenty of endeavour, plenty of desire. Still, you know, that cut and thrust and swagger that we saw at the beginning of the season in that final pass, the final execution of the shot, and although they have dominated possession, you know, we've seen there in the stats, then you look at the stats that really count as far as Derby are concerned, and that's one goal. They've had 8 corners and they've had 7 attempts, so it's what you do with that possession, Simon. Let's
talk about the Forest penalty shout before the Derby County goal. It was involving Jake Buxton and also Michael Antonio as well. Now you can see the referee, Andy Madley's got a really good view of this. What was your view? Andy, in commentary, felt it was a penalty.
Yeah.
Do you share that? Yeah,
the first one, definitely this was a penalty for me. And he's got a ringside seat. We can see the flat of the hand goes on the shirt there. But Antonio's making the referee aware.
He's having a good look, isn't he?
He's having a good look. Buxton then takes a handful of the shirt, and Antonio actually links him and makes sure the hand remains there to give himself the best opportunity of getting a decision. And unfortunately, he turns to the referee there, pleading, and doesn't get anything at all.
And Mike Riley said at the start of last season, he said, look, if both players are involved in that, and there's that putting down of the arm from Antonio, then the direction of the referees is give nothing. So you can see why Madley didn't give a penalty?
I think that's in a case of when the same two people are coming together all the time and there's a little bit of wrestling. But on the one-off on that first one initially there, I think the direct contact was made by Buxton, and Antonio can count himself unfortunate. And at that stage, you know, Forest were dominating possession and were making inroads with a couple of little chances.
Yeah, the start was fairly confident, was it? Because they finished the half enjoying the more possession, and they started in the same way as well. We talked about the lack of confidence in this side in recent games. Did you see a confident start?
Yeah, I did, and Derby themselves had started well, but Forest ignored that and started going into the final third. And Antonio, you've seen the first one there, didn't get enough purchase. That's the second one, and that's that final little thing, you know, when you're a little bit nervy, a little bit edgy, and things aren't quite going for you, you tend to snatch at things, and they were going, you know, in the far corner at the beginning of the season.
Now, we speak a lot about Chris Martin's goals, but we also talk a lot about his all-round play as well. And in terms of the Derby goal, his role was instrumental, and in truth, Lansbury had no time to react.
No time to react at all, the proximity of it, but there's a desire, just, you know, an intelligence to wander in there. He's not getting fronted, tracks Wilson to the ball. They both actually miss it, Martin and Wilson there, and Lansbury, no time to react, and inadvertently, when you're struggling for form, it ends up in the back of your own net. But the response actually after that was good again by Forest. They've got in and around a Derby side who, you know, when we look at all during the course of this season up to now, as far as goal scoring, as far as defensive, as far as keeping possession and damaging teams when you're in possession, they're all in the top 2 or 3.
Did you see Derby, though, after that goal, beginning to exert some authority on it?
I think when we look at passages of play, you know, 4 and 5 and 6 passages of play, going from defensive third through the midfield third and into the final third, I think all that quality came from Derby. In particular, Johnny Russell was outstanding. You know, we've seen him there, 7th assist of the season. But for Eric Lehigh's pace, he would have got beyond him on several occasions. And Ward hasn't looked out of place, even though he's, you know, just come back into the side as well. So they always carry that threat, and that'll be what Stuart Pearce will be aware at. If we try and be a little bit more expensive, commit further bodies forward, then we may get done on the break.
And what Stuart Pearce has done in recent games is he's dropped Carl Darlow down to the bench, the man who's made the move to Newcastle. He's come back on loan. Doris Rees is now in goal. That save in the 20th minute, it came off Buxton's head at the end. How good was it? Yeah,
it was a tremendous. Again, it's reactionary because he's looking down the barrel here, and he's actually he's pulling the trigger, and then he's got to change direction to a degree. He's focusing on that left foot shot where Jamie Ward's planted his right foot and thinking it's going to go in the opposite corner, and he gives himself a good solid base to react off, push off and change direction. A couple of good punches there as well, and this is a guy who hasn't got you know, he's not a novice as far as championship football's concerned. In that Swansea season, he was outstanding.
Player with the least touches on that field in the first half?
Britta Sombolonga.
13
touches.
And he underlined right at the end of that first half. why that count needs to increase.
13 touches, 13 goals, and he doesn't doubt his individual ability. You know, 33 goals last year, beautiful touch, beautiful turn. That doesn't show me a player with a lack of confidence. It shows me a player who's had a lack of service just because of Forest's failings in the final third. Magnificent effort that outside of the right boot as well, and that just underlines why it's 1-0. You know, this is a Forest team who've been devoid of confidence, but they've got a lot of individual talent still in that team.
What do you think McLaren's take on that first half will be?
He'd be very pleased. He'd be very pleased. You've seen him at the start, you know, where he's saying about form goes out the window in a game like this, and it does to a degree, but when you've got a Derby side coming in with loads of confidence, a Forest team who hasn't win 8-0, you've got to trying to impress and trying to, you know, make the negatives seem even greater for Forest, and to a degree they've done that. But still, I think in the Forest dressing room, you know, they'll think that we can actually make inroads here in second half, keep it solid and maybe get one on the break.
Well, the January transfer window remains very much open, and one move this week that has certainly perplexed the Leeds United fans is one of their players of the season, Stephen Warnock, has made the move from Ellen Road here to the IPRO. Let's hear from him now. He's alongside Jonathan Oakes.
Well, Stephen, watching this game as a Derby player for the first time, what did you make of the first half?
Very good, very impressed. Thought the lads started well, sort of put Forest on the back foot as early as they could, and sort of took the game to them. I think Forest have found it a little bit difficult to get out, but that's due to our pressure on the team, and the lads have been very impressive.
Does watching this really whet your appetite to play for Derby now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, lads have been great in training all week. I've been watching from afar, and I've been very impressed with the way the setup is and things like that. And then coming down to the ground today has been perfect. You can see firsthand how the lads sort of get ready for the game and approach games, and they've done very well.
Is it a difficult decision to leave Leeds?
Yeah, it's always difficult to make decisions in football because everyone knows you live and die by your decisions. Decisions are made for a reason. I've come here to sort of enjoy my football as much as I can to try and get promoted, and that's an aim that I want to do. I want to play in the Premier League again. I feel I can do that here.
Yeah, do you feel that Derby are very much on course for automatic promotion to the Premier League?
No one's ever on. I mean, the table says we're doing well at the moment, but you've got to go out and you've got to win them games every week at the moment. The lads have been doing that, but it's a long season. There's a lot of games to play and a hell of a lot of points to play for.
Of course, you sustained your injury playing for Leeds against Derby here. How far off are you?
I'm back training now. I trained again today. I think there's just an overlap with the medical departments from both Leeds and Derby, just making sure everything was fine. But I'll be back and available for selection next week.
Looking forward to a battle to get into this team now.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. You come in here, I know obviously Foz is playing well, and I know I'm not coming here just to sort of push my side and walk straight into the team. I'm going to have to fight for my place, and I look forward to it. I'm sure he will as well.
Thanks, Stephen. Enjoy the second half.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, Peter, understandably, it's a move that's left Leeds fans pulling their hair, actually, you know, sticking with his policy of if you're over the age of 30, he won't offer you more than a year. He wanted longer than that, so he arrives here at Derby, and we talk about this depth of squad that Steve McLaren's got. How much more depth have they got now that he's arrived? Yeah,
fantastic, real experience, and at the end of the season, that's going to really, really count. Players who played in big game situations and cover for important players as well. Forsyth, unsung hero, been absolutely fantastic since his signing. You know, a virtual ever presence since his signing. Darren Bent coming as well. Shotton as well, undisclosed fee. Brilliant sign to cover all the back four. So for me, he's strengthened at the right time as Steve McLaren.
Well, we expected Will Hughes not to appear in the second half, and that is the case. Here of news on his replacement. Let's rejoin Andy Hinchcliffe and Bill Leslie.
Yeah, the Derby huddle incomplete in terms of Will Hughes' absence, but Jeff Hendrick part of it, and he is readying himself for a second half introduction. No signs of any changes for Nottingham Forest, who are eager to get this second period underway. Encouraging signs from them in terms of causing Derby problems and getting themselves back in the match, particularly with that late Brit Assombalonga effort. How do you feel they'll approach this second half, Andy?
Oh, they're only a goal behind, so there's always a chance, but as Peter was saying in the studio, they're struggling to get the ball up to Assombalonga, for him to get hold of it and move up the field, so they're constantly under pressure, so they really have to hold down for 15-20 minutes, don't go too down, and try and build back into the game. I think they'd gladly take a point at this point in the game.
So Jeff Hendrick, a scorer here against Nottingham Forest last season, comes on to replace Will Hughes. Nothing like a derby to bridge a gap. 17 points between these two sides. As it stands, that is going to become 20 in Derby's favour as they head back to the summit of the Skybet Championship. The gap in terms of this contest much more slender, and that will be a fact, I'm sure, emphasised by Stuart Pearce as he looks for his first Derby win as Nottingham Forest manager in this fixture.
I think from a Derby perspective for Steve McClaren, he'll expect his team to really step on the gas in the first 10-15 minutes of this second half, as they did when the game kicked off. They're 1-0 up. They're on the better side, playing better football. They need to make that count.
Derby won their last 4 without conceding. Forest lost their last 3, scoring just 1 goal. That's the form book that needs to go out of the window in this second period. Mikel Antonio finding Lansbury. Ward, Bryson. Mascarell. Hobbs rises. Pressure applied by Jamie Ward. Finding Gardner, who gets a little too much on that.
That's the problem. Time and time again in the first half, there's no quality up to Britta Sombalonga. That ball from Gardner is nowhere near him.
Great and rewarding shift, the lone striker role, if you get the service. Just look at the goals that Chris Martin has, 6 of them in his last 8 championship matches. Compare that to Britta Sombalonga, who's seen them dry out, just 1 in 6 for him.
The big difference for me, Chris Martin works very hard to get on the ball, but the service into him, the quality from midfield into him is much, much better than it is for a Sombalonga.
Forsyth, Ward, Martin. Buxton away. Off the head of Hobbs. Now Osborne. The feet of Lehigh. Russell, who's such a dynamic runner, will work hard to deny Osborne any space. He's been one of the informed players, actually, young Ben Osborne, despite the pretty dismal run that Forest have been on recently.
You look at the work ethic in this Derby side, because Cyrus Christie gets caught upfield. Johnny Russell quite happy to drop in behind him into a right-back position and do his defensive duties.
Antonio. Play on, says the referee. He waited to see if advantage would come. It didn't. Free kick taken quickly by Forest. Too quickly. Osborne would have been away, but it's been pulled back.
Well, there has been a tactical tweak as well from Stuart Pearce. Robert Tesher is certainly playing a lot further forward than he was in the first half. Normally a holding midfielder. He's been released a little bit. Gary Gardner's sitting a bit deeper alongside Lansbury, and Tesher has pushed further forward, trying to support Assombalonga.
Russell wants to burst in behind Lehigh. Wilson was there to cover. And Doris de Vries can clear. Standout first half save from a deflected Bryson effort from Doris de Vries, ensuring that Forest remain very much in this contest. Tumbling over Assombalonga, who's penalised for making a back for the former Mansfield Town centre-half.
He's got to keep his concentration. It's very frustrating when you're struggling to get possession of the ball. Keeping involved in the game can be a problem for a lone centre-forward. He's got to keep cool.
Tremendous atmosphere at the IPRO now. It's a bit of belief that the Nottingham Forest fans are getting their teeth into, and their hosts responding. Since Nottingham Forest were last able to win here. January 2011, Rob Earnshaw came off the bench to win a tight contest 1-0. Osborne. Lehigh. Osborne fouled by Cyrus Christie.
It's good to see Forest taking the game to Derby. Henry Lansbury, Gary Gardner have to be careful. You don't want to get caught on the counter-attack. Derby more than capable of springing back at you.
Assombalonga looking to combine with Tesha. Oh, it's over Lee Grant, and Mikel Antonio couldn't respond and get himself in a position to do anything with that.
Ben Osborne has been pushed wider on that left-hand side. It's a decent ball in. It's probably always too much weight on it. Lee Grant can't actually read the flight of it, neither can Mikel Antonio.
Well, whether it was calmed and considered, or whether it was a tub-thumping team talk from Stuart Pearce at half-time, it's certainly galvanised Nottingham Forest in the second period.
Well, of course, you have to rouse your team at half-time if you're a goal behind in a big derby like this, but you have to be hard-nosed as well. There has to be a game plan. And he has switched things round in this second half, and it's certainly paid dividends.
Buxton's header. Here's Hendrick. Ward. Got the pace to get beyond the lumbering Hobbs. But Hobbs recovers with a meaty challenge on Jamie Ward.
Well, he might not be the quickest, Jack Hobbs, but he sticks to his task, and that is a brilliant challenge on the winger.
Mikel Antonio surviving the attentions of Hendrick. Mascarell there to sweep up.
You can see the pressure that Forest are putting Derby under now. They're putting lots of players, red shirts, in that Derby half and not allowing them to play out comfortably from the back. They're putting the pressure on, winning the ball back, and then starting to play well themselves.
Spin on the ball, carried it to Ward. Now Hendrick. Russell. Ward. Losing his footing and the ball, but picking up a free kick. Lehigh penalised.
I think Derby will take this under some pressure. Maybe Ward always difficult to close down. It's possibly a clip of the heel, slips as well. It's an opportunity for Mascarell to provide some quality. This is where Forest do really need to concentrate. They've been the better side for 10 minutes. They can't defensively go to sleep here, they could be punished.
Boys from the back sent up for this to try and get on the end of Mascarell's free kick. Nearly fell to Russell, but swept away by Gary Gardner, recently brought in on loan from Aston Villa. He's already played here this season during a loan spell at Brighton. He's out of that game after 20 minutes. They were 3-0 up. They came out of the blocks really quickly that afternoon. Mascarell. Ward, good first touch, set up for Ward.
Two fabulous touches, and then it really needed to count. That third touch, the shot needed to be a lot better. And he's looked really lively, been out a long time with injuries, had hamstring problems. He's on a special training plan to try and sort those hamstring problems out. Does really well there, opens the angle up beautifully for himself. Just needs to keep it on target.
Yeah, they've nursed him back understandably, given that history Andy was talking about. He had a start in the FA Cup here against Southport. They had to hang on to win late on. This Martin penalty. Taken out of the firing line against Ipswich, but starting his first game since October here. It's been better from Nottingham Forest in the second half, but it hasn't been able to be translated into real tests for Lee Grant and the Derby County defence. That has to change in the final quarter of the match, where it's a 5th successive defeat for Nottingham Forest in all competitions. Osborne. Well, appeals for handball as Forsyth closed down. Corner kick given, Grant couldn't keep it in.
Well, on many occasions in many games we've seen the referee point to the spot. And Osborne does brilliantly. I think the arms are very close to the body. He's turned his head as well, Craig Forsyth. Can he do much more to get out of the way? I'm not even sure. It hits his arm.
Well, appeal for everything. They won't get anything on this occasion, Nottingham Forest, apart from the corner. Mascarell attacked it. So many players missing for Nottingham Forest that has contributed to their recent struggles, and irreversibly Michael Mancian also not fit for this one. Dexter Blackstock, Chris Cohen, of course, a long-term absentee with the latest in a catalogue of unfortunate injuries. Lansbury back today after a couple of games suspension, putting through his own net, and with 20 minutes to play, that's the difference. Hassan Malonga. Osborne. Into the channel for Asombalonga, who's offside. And the barometer of whether things are going well or not for Derby County. The appearance of Steve McLaren on the touchline usually indicates a measure of concern. He's down, and by the look of things, that will signal a debut for Darren Bent.
I just wonder with Jamie Ward, he's been out for such a long time, is it possible that he can see the job through? Will he be the one that maybe has to make way? Because you can see why Steve McLaren's slightly worried. 1-0 up at home, he hoped to be in control of the game, and his side aren't.
Crossfield ball from Lehigh, Mikel Antonio. The side gets the touch, Nottingham Forest get the corner.
It's been a really good contest, Antonio and Forsyth. As that ball comes off his chest, Forsyth reads it, it's a good challenge. Seems to get a whack on the hip or in the ribs.
Pushing and shoving in the Derby goalmouth sees Asombalonga end up on the deck.
Well, this is Asombalonga's job, really, is to stop Lee Grant coming off his goal line. He's thrown into the back of the net, but that's what he's trying to do, the centre forward, just make it very difficult for Lee Grant to get off his line and come and claim.
He hasn't got anywhere near it. Kelvin Wilson takes a swing and Grant can fall on it.
Well, the problem there, the ball breaks for Asombalonga at the far post and he's actually going away from goal. I think he was actually facing the goal, he turns this in, but you can see he's just the wrong side of the ball, so he can't swivel his hips and turn it goalwards, but big chance gone.
Now Russell leading the charge for Derby County. 4 white shirts along with him coming forward. It's blocked by Gary Gardner. Lansbury. May not have yielded much, that Kelvin Wilson effort, but it was Nottingham Forest's first effort on target for an hour. Madley ready to show another yellow card. And the sheer weight of foul challenges from Omar Mascarell. He finds himself joining Jamie Ward in the referee's notebook from a Derby perspective.
Just one too many for Mascarell. He certainly puts himself about. He likes to get hold of the ball and play, but he likes to make challenges too.
So physicality he's added to his game over the months that he's been here on loan from Real Madrid. Lots of physicality that's given Forest this opportunity. Asombalonga! That's what Nottingham Forest have been waiting for. Britt Asombalonga steps up and levels it up.
Well, it's not the prettiest goal that Forest are going to score this season, but this could be the most important of the season. His scruffy, Jack Hobbs is in there as well. The ball just is kept alive by Forest more than anything else, and the one player they want it to fall to is Britt Asombalonga, and he tucks it home. And you'd have to say over the last 10-15 minutes they really have been pressing Forest. They've shown a lot of grit and character in this second half. It's poor defensively from Derby, but Britt Asombalonga doesn't care. When he breaks his way, he makes sure he does the right thing, hits the target and brings Forest right back into the game.
Maybe it's the sheer weight of Nottingham Forest pressure that has seen Derby breach for the first time in 4.5 matches. Terrific celebrations from Stuart Pearce, not quite Euro 96 style, but not far off. Now he knows. That's the lift his side need. And they've got 15 minutes to try and turn this one on its head. And who knows, perhaps turn their season around. Meantime, Jamie Ward makes way for a Derby debut for Darren Bent. Mikel Antonio fouled by Forsyth, and suddenly this contest takes on a very different complexion.
Well, you have to give Forest a huge amount of credit. 2 wins in the last 20 games, a goal down under the cosh in the first half here at the IPRO, and they've stood firm. I don't know what Stuart Pearce said to them at half-time, but they have come out all guns blazing in the second half, put real pressure on. They really do deserve an equaliser.
The club under a transfer embargo, the side underperforming, the manager under the cosh, and under all that they found a response. They found an equaliser. Osborne as they seek to take the lead. Hendrick trying to steal it away. The momentum with the men in red.
We saw against Ipswich that Derby have the ability to battle to a win as well. They are a very good footballing side. They've not been allowed to play that football in this second half, so they're going to have to work very hard and battle their way back into the game if they are to go on and win it.
Keogh. Steve McLaren has implemented the change. He's back up top now. And in terms of tactical formation, what exactly has he changed in terms of the introduction of Darren Bent? It's not quite 4-4-2, is it?
It isn't, actually. Johnny Russell's come out to this left-hand side where Jamie Ward was playing. It is a front two. It seems as though there's a front pair, and that's not how Derby normally play. It'll be interesting to see whether Martin can play alongside Darren Bent.
Well, here is Martin. Bryson making the burst, opening up a bit of space for Martin. Russell. Well, since the 16th minute when Henry Lansbury's own goal gave Derby the lead, it's been Forest who've been seeking to muster a response. They've done so now, and that falls to Derby. They want to open up a 3-point gap at the top to find a second. So many times you see it. You can't just switch it on and off. And Derby struggling for their usual fluency now.
Well, we have to go back to Stuart Pearce changing things at half-time with Osborne out on that left-hand side, Antonio down the right, Gardner and Lansbury. So more of a 4 in midfield, Tesha further forward, supporting Assombalonga. That change means they can put more pressure on Derby, so they've got the ball back quicker and then simply play better with it.
Hendrick. Mascarell. Oh, Bent had an opportunity, an opening. If he got his first touch right, as it was, he got no touch.
It's a great piece of awareness from Mascarell. Talked about his physicality, but he does have that ability to pick a pass. It's a difficult one for Bent. It just bounces in front of him. It's kind of shin high, and it's hard to control when the ball skips off the surface like that.
Christie, Bent, Hendrick, Russell. Bryson trying to sweep it onto the path of the on-rushing Forsyth. Referee pulls it back for a previous foul on Chris Martin.
Certainly in for a fascinating final 10 minutes here. I didn't expect this response from Forest after going a goal down, and I thought they'd have a real struggle in the second half, but hats off to them. They have worked very hard to make their way back into the game.
Mascarell. Lansbury low down, heads clear. Christie. Martin is up there. Buxton stayed forward as well. Lansbury goes long, hoping it'll fall to Assombalonga. Grant has to come out of his box. Tesha.
The idea was certainly right, but to have the technique to put this back over Lee Grant's head, it'd take some doing. Some players do it in the past on the volley. That is very difficult.
Off goes Michael Antonio, and he'll be replaced by Stephen McLaughlin, the Republic of Ireland midfielder.
Mascarell was picked up for a foul that led to the Forest equaliser. He's just got arms on the Forest player there. He's fairly soft. He's got arms round him, so he can have no real complaints that a free kick is given for that.
He got booked for it as well, didn't he?
I don't think it was for that one particular challenge. I think he had 4 or 5 foul challenges. The referee totted up and finally booked him for that one. Chris Martin's certainly taken a battering from that Forest defence, but he's quite happy to do that as long as he picks up free kicks in dangerous areas like this.
McLaughlin, the man to give it away, the man who spent most of the season so far on loan at Notts County.
Well, from this position, Mascarell just has to fire this ball straight at Doris de Vries, get his teammates moving across the line of the ball.
Mascarell. Osborne doing enough. Hobbs down to McLaughlin. In goes Russell. Lehigh away. This one could go either way now. Derby staking their claim for all 3 points. Osborne has had another terrific afternoon in the red of Nottingham Forest. Mascarell, Bryson. In the first half, Forest were guilty perhaps of standing off their host. Not in the second, they're denying them all sorts of time and space. There are several reasons why they're back in this match.
Yeah, the change of formation certainly helped, but there's just a belief, a mindset. They've gone out there believing they can get back into the game, and they've made it so.
From a Nottingham Forest point of view, Andy, you look at what happened last year when they conceded an early goal. 16 minutes on the clock here when Henry Lansbury's own goal went in. Heads could have dropped. Could have been another embarrassing scoreline against Nottingham Forest, but character, resolve, reserve, all shown by Stuart Pearce's side. Just the sort of performance of response that was needed to make sure that he'll get a little longer in the job to try and turn this one around.
It's really the littlest really expect from the team to go out there, roll their sleeves up and work very hard for the shirt and for the fans, and that's what they've done in this second half. Played some good football as well. A bit of luck with the break of the ball for Assombalonga, but they don't care. They've got an equaliser. They could yet win this one.
And by Wilson, and by Mascarell. A question to be asked as far as Derby are concerned with that injury to John Eustace and the holding midfield role that has been a slight problem since that injury to George Thorne, but he's staked his claim well to fill in there at Mascarell today, although right on cue he gives it away straight to Osborne. Lansbury. Osborne will have to carry a long way, goes beyond Mascaral. Might need some help, Lehigh provides it. Well, they're going to need a few more performances like the second half if they're going to reignite any playoff push, Nottingham Forest. Point here if they hang on to it. They'll take them to within 9 of the playoff positions, but that's ahead of everyone else playing later on today.
Well, as an owner, you try and assess whether the manager has lost his players, and from the second half performance, the players are certainly playing for Stuart Pearce.
Sizing up his options. Feeding Kane. Hendrick. There's McLaughlin.
Again, there you see how far forward Robert Tesher is, just putting pressure on Jake Buxton. Seems to have no choice but to just nod it out of play. Forest keep hold of the ball, keep that pressure on.
Well, Forest would have been hoping that they could come into this East Midlands derby, come away with something that would give them a springboard to kick on for the remainder of the season. Even a draw might yet provide that.
I think the scoreline for any manager is one thing, it's the manner, how you go about achieving that scoreline. If Forest do come away with a point, the way in which they've achieved it will seriously please Stuart Pearce.
Saturday Night Football on Sky Sports tonight, live from St James's Park. Newcastle United against Southampton, 4:45, Sky Sports 1. They shared the points in September. Are they going to do the same on a sunny but bitterly cold afternoon in mid-January here in Derby? Bent, who's barely had a touch since he's come on. Forsyth, who certainly felt the touch of McLaughlin on him. Keogh got his head to it. Martin's lurking.
Well, it's very, very difficult when you're on the stretch, on the volley, trying to control it and keep it on target. It does well to find the space to get his shots in here. Chris Martin just in behind Kelvin Wilson, but very hard to get over the top of that and keep it down.
There's no doubt about it. You can probably hear Stuart Pearce's name being shouted by the Nottingham Forest fans. There with him. Sure that Faris Al-Hassawi, after what he's seen here this afternoon, will remain with the former Forest player. Forest tried to work Kane into a good position. He got the corner.
I think Forsyth from that position should be knocking the ball out for a throw, and he's given away a very cheap set piece here.
As we enter 4 minutes of added time. Martin meets it at the near post, but it's not clear yet, not by a long shot. Forest doing well to keep it alive before Keogh clears. Wilson, the Sombalonga's underneath this one. Keogh under it again for Derby. Still alive, Keogh goes to ground, the flag goes up on this near side. So even if had found a way beyond Lee Grant, it wouldn't have counted. Mascarell misses out. Osborne has open ground ahead of him. He's got a Sombalonga as well if he can find him. Osborne doesn't need him! Ben Osborne, Nottingham born, Nottingham bred. Looks like he's won it for them here at the IPRO. What a goal! What a moment for Stuart Pearce.
Well, I don't think Lee Grant is going to be happy at all that he's conceded here, but Ben Osborne, for a split second I thought he's made the wrong choice. He had an overlapping run, should he have played the ball? He decided to shoot it deep into added on time. He made exactly the right choice. He has been outstanding in the second half, and what a turnaround. But they give the ball away so cheaply here, Derby, and then suddenly Forest are breaking. I talked about belief, about going on and winning a game he's done well to get back into. It's a thunderous strike from Ben Osborne, but I still think Lee Grant will be unhappy that he's not saved this. He'll take nothing away from the youngster. That is a quite brilliant effort.
He'd never scored a senior goal before that one. He's got one that'll be spoken about on the banks of the Trent for years to come. A winner in Derby's backyard. Months of frustration taken out for Stuart Pearce. Andy Reid, Fawaz El-Hazawi, the Nottingham Forest board, in raptures. On such moments, seasons turn.
And you would have to say, from what's happened in the second half here at the IPRO, that Forest do deserve to be ahead. They've been the more forceful side. He has been outstanding.
Four successive defeats in all competitions. All he had to field, Stuart Pearce, in the build-up to this one. Questions about his future. Questions about what would happen if they lost this one. Well, they're now within seconds of winning it, coming to Derby and winning. Only Wigan have done that before this season in the Championship. Steve McLaren can't believe it's Derby's side who took the lead just after the quarter of an hour mark and let this one slip away. But they've had it wrestled away, in truth, by the response from Stuart Pearce's men in the second half.
Well, we should really listen when Steve McLaren said that the relative form of these two sides going into the game was immaterial. That's exactly how it's proved.
Midfielder withdrawn, centre-half Jamal Lascelles sent on for the remaining minutes. Mascarell, oh, Buxton's got his head to it. Lascelles out as far as Russell, who fires wide.
Well, it's not easy for Johnny Russell, he's under pressure. There's the choice here of firing this back into the 6-yard box or taking the shot on. He goes for glory. There's lots of red shirts between him and the goal. He slices it badly. Is that their last chance, Derby, to get an equaliser?
November the 22nd, the last time Nottingham Forest won a match in any competition. 17th of January 2015, and they're about to get a famous win, their first here in Derby for 4 years. McLaughlin. The afternoon that Stuart Pearce and Nottingham Forest breathed new life into their season. They used the East Midlands derby as a springboard to beat the in-form Rams. Despite falling behind, trailing at half-time, they found a response and 2 second-half goals, one from Britta Sombalonga, and a sensational winner. His first ever senior goal from Ben Osborne has seen them turn the form book on its head and turn this match on its head for a famous East Midlands derby win.
That's just a quite astonishing turnaround in the second half. I don't think anybody at the IPRO would have seen this coming. The Forest fans, even the most fervent Forest fans, couldn't have seen them turning it around, but they showed real grit, determination, played some great football. Ben Osborne, absolutely outstanding, and they deserved it, really, Forest. It was always going to be tough coming here to Derby, who are playing so well this season. It is an amazing result for Forest.
Well, let's hear how it feels and get some reaction from some Nottingham Forest players in the company of Jonathan Oates.
Ben and Britt, well done. Ben, your first ever senior goal. What a time for it. Just sum that up for us.
Unbelievable. I don't feel like I've done it. I was getting all my mates are Derby fans, and I was getting messages from them last night like, don't score the winner, and it's gone and happened. My first goal. It's unbelievable feeling.
What changed in that second half?
I think we were just at them more. I think we got a few set pieces early in the second half, and we just kept the pressure on from there, really. I think we won the majority of the 50-50s in the second half, and we just stayed in the game, and that's what we haven't been able to do recently, stay in the game, and we got the win at the end, so buzzing.
Britt, your 14th goal for Forest, is that the most important so far?
Yeah, definitely. Like, look, everyone's going to say, oh, we won here, this has probably kicked off our season, but you know what, we just have to take go game by game, and I think that's one of the most important goals I've scored in my career, and you know, we're just going to go on high now. We're just going to go on to the next game and take every game as it comes, hopefully to win all the games.
Yeah, what can you do now this season? Can this be a springboard for you?
We're not going to get ahead of ourselves like right now, but we're going to, as I said, we're going to take it game by game.
Stuart Pearce has been under pressure. How much was that for the manager today?
Yeah, massively. He gave a team talk at the hotel, which was quite emotional, got everyone fired up, and yeah, we just wanted to put a good performance in, especially for the fans as well. They've been backed us all the way, so massive.
Well done, thank you for joining us. Britt, if you do the honours, please. Ben Osborne is the Skybet man of the match.
Thank you, sir. Bit of steam on the camera, but who can blame him? Because it has been a long wait for them to get back to winning ways. It's only a third win in 21, but what a mature performance from that man there, Ben Osborne, the man born in Nottingham.